Hello everybody, Konadra here. Welcome back to BeamNG.drive, which is a game that has been in development for some years now, and we've done a couple videos on in the past. But there was recently a update that kind of piqued my interest, but I haven't really had time to look at it yet, and has kind of flown under the radar for most people because it was an update to a part of the game or sim that I felt was really important and needed, but not many people kind of cared about because, well, let's be honest, most people pick up BeamNG Drive because they want to crash things, they want to smash things, they want to see things explode, blah 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 blah. I want to pick it up because I think it could be a really cool open world style driving simulation game that has a massive modding community and people can make their own games and all that kind of fun stuff. I would like to see the game progress in that way. The thing that's really been holding it back, though, are the driving physics. The soft body physics are great. The way the car reacts to hitting things and, impacts and stuff is awesome. The way the cars and vehicles drive, though, has always been quite subpar, in my opinion, and has pretty much not changed since the game was essentially rigs of rods. I had the same complaints with that, and they kind of carried straight over into BeamNG. But today, we're going to see if that has changed due to this little line right here, friction subsystem update. So apparently they have been working on just the thing that I have been complaining about, and that is the way the car feels connected to the road, the way the tires generate friction against the ground, basically the core element of how the cars drive. You can also see here there is a new UI and some really good polished elements here. If we hit play, it's going to take us off to a nice screen here where we can pick a track or a basically world, I guess. And you can see we have our first true racetrack in here, which tells me that they are definitely putting a little bit more emphasis on the actual driving aspect of the game. Otherwise, they would just keep doing these big open world driving around kind of places, which don't really show off the driving physics that much. So if we pick the Hirochi Raceway here, it's going to take us there, and it's going to put us in the regular old pickup that we're oh so familiar with now, but there's also improvements to the user interface in here as well. So if we hit escape, no more clunky menu to try and change your vehicle. You can just click it here, and we have a nice... Now, it's still weird that these steel barrels and everything are... The ramps and whatnot and the Mii's are included in the vehicle menu, but I will let that go because I understand that they are here for a reason. And obviously they're adding a lot of things, kind of things we saw in the... oh, what was it called then? It's called Wreckfest now. It was called Next Car Game at the time. Those kind of elements into this, which is interesting. But if we keep going down here, there's a nice new car that is just a modern family sedan, and it has a bunch of different options. This menu looks fantastic. This looks really good, like, like a game should look today. There's some different options. I'm going to pick the all-wheel drive street car. Okay, so let's go into the inside, which, again, this has kind of become a commonplace for this place. A commonplace. The model is very well done. The lighting is pretty good. The lighting of the dashboard could be better. Reading the gauges is quite difficult, but overall, very good. The mirrors are not working at the moment, but I can see that... Oh, you can't see this, but the steering movement is essentially one-to-one with my steering wheel. I didn't have to set up anything. It automatically knew what my G27 was, which is very nice. And I can select full manual. There we go. And the manual does behave pretty well. So let's see, alright. A little bit of floatiness already that I'm noticing. One thing that I have commonly noted is that with the road cars and such, their steering racks are much too slow. Let's actually stop real quick. This car does have ABS, and they are modeling that, and you'll see it I'll turn the wheel just in between the fuel gauge and the tach. You'll see the ABS light come on. It's a little wonky. It has its issues too. But let's see. Yes, you see, this car, now it is a street car, so it's somewhat normal for this. It has a full steering range. The difference is, unlike with a normal street car, it takes a lot of steering input to get it to start turning. So let's take off here. Well, this is actually better. This is better than the experiences I've had in the past. I'm not having to give it any kind of major dramatic turning. Okay, a little bit there. You can see I'm really having to put a lot of wheel into it. Let's go this way. This car does not have a massive amount of power, so it's a good test bed. Actually, let me turn my volume down a little bit so I can hear myself think. There we go. So coming up here to some S's. Alright, car got a little sideways there. And it really... Okay. It's not bad. It's definitely starting to feel more like a driving simulation now. The car is not doing the annoying shuddering around thing like it used to do. There's some improvement there. I'm hearing a little bit of that shuddering in the tires. I think if we hit the brakes real hard, we'll get a... Yeah, you see the way the ABS works? Now that is the way ABS works, is it grabs and lets go, grabs and lets go. It's probably just a little, okay, what's going on here? Alright, there's some of the problem. Now this has to do with the soft body physics and all that stuff. But you can see that at low speeds or under suspension bind, it kind of just gets a little wiggly. But overall, under power and at speed, so far, definitely feels better. I don't know this track at all yet, so... Okay, yeah, you see, that is encouraging. I'm able to kind of get the car sideways and correct it. That was something that... Whoops! Well, we're gonna see what it's like on the gravel. Yeah. Behaved pretty much like gravel. Hear the differentials opening up. I think this car is modeled with open discs. It's really like a Subaru. See, that was a little washy there. Upper steer, lower steer. Whoop. It still gets a little weird when you hit the walls. But not too bad. Okay. Try and learn this track a little bit so I can get a better idea as to how it is doing. Alright, so I would say go ahead and label me as impressed. I am very pleased to see there has indeed been some serious progress made to the driving physics here. It's not quite your Assetto Corsa iRacing level of simulation just yet. But it definitely has a much more responsive feel. The force feedback is extremely lacking, which is probably the biggest downside. And the braking is still a little weird. It's maybe a little too effective. And then the ABS kicks in and does that kind of severe stuttering. But overall, my feel for the car on the track is significantly better than it once was. Also, may I just note that this track is actually pretty cool. Graphically, it's pretty good. Design-wise, it's really good. I like this idea of having all the different routes to take. They're not necessarily... I don't even know what's over there. Whoop! This might be too fast for turn one. It's distracted. But you see there, I had a feel for being at too high of a speed, and I could feel, even through the kind of slim pickings force feedback we have, that the car was not going to be able to make that turn. So that's, again, very encouraging. The track looks great. The layouts are great. The turns are realistic. It's obviously a fictional setup road course. But it all feels very true to life. A little bit, I would say, in the countersteer department, it still feels like maybe the car is a bit too floaty. Like it doesn't. If I put that much wheel of countersteer into it, I would think I would be feeling a little bit more friction in the car. It just feels a little bit slidey, and that could be through the, like I mentioned, the poor force feedback more than anything. Because the car does look like it's behaving pretty normally. At high speeds, I want to go down that road, I keep forgetting. At high speeds, the car still feels a little off too. And then there's this, if I could get it to repeat it. Try and get into a turn way too fast. Nope, that was actually pretty good there. The way the car spun and lost friction. There has been some occasions, I'll try to repeat it, where the car, I hear it there with just a sound clip, that the when it's losing grip, it's not losing it linearly. It's not gripping, and then losing traction. It will actually like stutter. It'll lose grip, kicker, lose grip, kicker. It seems to be in pretty rare circumstances because I'm not able to just repeat it on the fly. Hopefully it'll happen again. Or it could be. That could be it. It could be that it was when I'm on the brakes, because I am a notorious trail breaker. So that could have been what I was feeling. I was actually being on the brakes in the turn. Yeah, I bet you that was what it was, because I was just trail braking right there and trail braking, and it was definitely doing the stuttering. Let's try and go off to the right here. I don't know what this is going to have in store for us, but man, does it look good. This car doesn't have a whole lot of power. The shadows are definitely a little crisper than they should be, and it kind of gives it a little bit of that cartoony feel. But all that dense forest really does look cool. Oh, this is awesome. It's like a little bit of a road rally stage. Right in the middle of a racetrack. That's really cool. I am very impressed by that. And I was able to maintain speed pretty well. Control and all that good stuff. Okay, well we can't just test one car. Let's actually hop into. Wait, I want to go off to here first. Yeah, there's even more of these little rally sections. Very cool. All right, well I'm gonna hop into probably the same car but the race version of it and see how that one behaves. Don't hit trees. Don't hit the trees. Okay. Oh, that was inevitable. The tire flew off. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so there wasn't a complete lack of crashing involved in this video. Alrighty, we are now in our very green race car. I suspect it's going to have a bit more power behind it. Yeah. Watch ourselves. Getting on track here. Looks like the track goes off to the left there as well. Does something. Not really sure what. Yep, definitely has more power. Which is good in that it's going to let us kind of see what it behaves like when it gets sideways and stuff a little bit better. Obviously being all-wheel drive, it has some different characteristics there. Very fast. It also does not have ABS, so I'm going to watch that. But overall, I'm still getting pretty much the same feeling I had. You can definitely... Whoa, 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 oh! Ouch. Alright, here we go again. Let's try and do a little better. I'm surprised that I'm not completely locking up the brakes here. Handle those bumps very nicely. And then we got more on the brakes. And there's the little brake lock up, which is still maybe a little strange the way the brakes lock up. But I think the weird sounds make it even, oops, even stranger. See, this is somewhat what I was talking about with the steering input. Definitely having to put a lot more wheel into it than I think would be realistic. So maybe just some shorter steering boxes would help. Like when you're talking a race car of this kind of caliber, you should be, wow, this section right here makes my frame rate kind of struggle, sorry. You should really probably never be going more than about here, I think, for your steering input. And some of these I'm definitely almost having to cross over my hands. I would say overall the car does not feel as though it has significantly more grip than the other car, though, which is interesting. I don't know what kind of tire model they aim for. Can we get off here? Yeah, we can. This is certainly the perfect kind of car for a road rally setup like this. Oh, don't want to hit that big tree. That would be a game over moment there. Nice. Yeah, that is really good compared to, compared to how this used to behave and drive. It is night and day. That is for sure. I wouldn't go as far as to say it's driving sim level just yet. Okay, we were definitely going the wrong way before. This is that wall is the one I was hitting all the time. But it's getting there. We're getting closer. If they keep tweaking on it, maybe the suspension system needs a little bit of work. Maybe just the way it seems. Oh, don't hit anything. Oh, we hit things. I don't know how bad it's hitting. Okay, things are falling off, so it's probably hit pretty bad. But it's still driving. But it seems like maybe the way the bars and springs and stuff compress, they're almost too bouncy. They haven't maybe quite figured out how to tweak those to get them to be stiff and rigid and act like they should without making them too rubbery. And that's the difference between BeamNG and your normal sim, is that they're trying to use the soft body physics and stuff to emulate that, rather than with games or sims that use physics engines such as the ISI engine and stuff like that. If you look at the actual underpinnings of it, it's very if-then based. So what I mean by that is, if the car is going this fast, then this tire has that much grip. That's the way they work. Versus this is using the actual physical calculations of how much this right front spring is being compressed right now, or left front spring. And this tire is now leaning this much, so it's got this much contact patch with the road. So it's certainly a lot more complicated. I think it's maybe just lacking in a little bit of refinement. It's got the potential that maybe before I was not really seeing in it. So with just a few months' work, it's been probably 3, 4... Oh, this is gonna hurt. Nope, give it another well. 3 or 4 months since I've really spent any time with BeamNG. It's not handling quite like it was. Oh, not getting more parts. Let's go back over there. Car's already borked anyway. Let's go explore. Where does this go? Oh, this actually goes back to the garage, doesn't it? Interesting. Okay. Actually, they've definitely made a decent amount of progress in that time, and it's kind of put it back on the radar for me. I didn't... wow, there's actually a road. I didn't really think it had this much potential in it, so it's certainly very encouraging. So we're going to do a little on-road driving now. So what are we doing? About 60, I assume, miles per hour. And the car does behave pretty normally. Uh-oh, our road's ending. This is going to hurt. Brace for impact. I mean, other than this part, it does behave pretty normally. Bye, bumper. I'd say that's maybe different than the past version. Parts seem to be more willing to fly off. So you actually stuck around to the end of the video, huh? Well, then you get to find out with me what happens with this whole car cannon thing, because, I don't know, it was sitting there and I was curious. So this could be completely anticlimactic, or it could be really awesome. We're about to find out. It was both. It was anticlimactic and it was awesome. I don't think it made it out of the cannon. Yeah, that did not go to plan. It did, however, do a great job of destroying this car. Alright, well, that's gonna do it for this time. Thanks as always for watching, and I will see you next time.